Hi, my name is Adam Chamberlain from Elite Pro Golf, and today I'm going to help you with this really good drill to diagnose what you're doing wrong or right in the bunkers. Now, we see far too many people struggling out of the bunkers, and to be quite honest, we want to help you understand what you're doing wrong so that we can get up and out of the sand somewhere close to the flag and hopefully close enough to hole a putt, and it will save us some shots. So what do we use to help us do this? Well, this drill we've created, you can see in the close-up image, drawn a line a couple of inches behind the ball. I've created a box around the ball, and it's really important to understand why we're doing this, okay? So first thing we're going to do is set up to the ball with the box, and we're going to play our normal shot. And then we're going to look back at the box and notice where our club entered the sand. Now, ideally, we're going to be entering very close to the back line, and most of the box is going to have disappeared. Now, this is on a good shot. But what we also see here, as you're going to see in some of these pictures, is the most common thing is where people hit far too far behind the line. And you can see in this image how you can notice you've hit far too far behind the line. This can be caused by leaning back too much as you hit the golf ball. It can also be by trying to flick the ball up too much. So there's a couple of different ideas that could be wrong there. Now, also, sometimes people hit too much from the heel of the club and they think they're thinning it into the bank when actually they're hitting it from the heel. How do I diagnose that one? Well, let's have a look at this image. This image is going to show us how we've now taken the far side of the box away for a right-handed golfer, and it means we've hit it from the heel of the golf club. Now, if you're doing that, you probably didn't know you were hitting it from the heel. So you now need to practice feeling like you're hitting the middle of the box from a normal setup, or even feeling like we're taking away the near side part of the box so we can hit the center of the club. Before you know it, your ball's probably going to pop out straight away. So here's a couple of different ideas of how to diagnose this, okay? Now, another question we've been asked recently is about how to play out our deep sand. Now, sometimes we've got some new bunkers out on the golf course. Sometimes they take a little bit of time to bed in. The sand can be a little bit deep, but that doesn't mean you can't get out of them. You just need to understand how to do it. Now, when the sand's a little deeper, you need to open the club more and expose the bounce on the bottom. We need to also lower the handle this way, like this, so that we can expose the bounce. And the only other thing that some people do is they kind of swing a little bit shallower, a little bit more around themselves, rather than the club coming too steep down into the ball. This can be really helpful. Another idea from face on would be to maybe let the club release a little more versus dragging the handle forwards, because that tends to dig in. When we have plenty of sand, we need the club to skid through, the sole to skip through that sand and not dig in. Try that tip and I promise you'll be able to get out of this sand that's got maybe slightly too much in. Okay, now also if you're playing out of very little sand, the opposite to this, now the club tends to bounce off the bottom, so we may need to square the club up slightly. We may need to be a little bit of the opposite, a little bit steeper, a bit more up and down into the sand. This will help us get the club under the ball so the ball can pop up when there's very little sand in there. So however the sand is, we can do this. It's a skill. You need to learn, wiggle the feet, judge the sand, change your setup and technique accordingly so that you can get up and down and save shots around the green.